Welcome to a saint once said, the Confessions of Saint Augustine, Book 1, Chapter 9. Ah, God, my God, what wretchedness I suffered in that world, and how I was trifled with. The program for right living presented to me as a boy was that I must obey my mentors so that I might get on in this world and excel in the skills of the tongue, skills which lead to high repute and deceitful riches. To this end, I was sent to school to learn my letters, though I, poor wretch, could see no point in them. All the same, I would be beaten whenever I was lazy about learning. This punishment was taken for granted by grown-up people, and many a pupil have undergone it before we did, laying down those rough roadways along which we were now being driven, as we bore our part in the heavy labor and pain allotted to the sons of Adam. We did, however, meet at school some people who prayed to you, Lord, and we learned from them, imagining you as best we could in the guise of some great personage who, while not evident to our senses, was yet able to hear and help us. So it came about that, even then, in boyhood, I began to pray to you, my aid and refuge. By calling upon you, I untied the knots of my tongue and begged to you, in my little boy way, but with no little earnestness, not to let me be beaten at school. You did not hear my prayer, lest by hearing it, you might have consigned me to a fool's fate. So my stripes were laughed at by my elders and even my parents, who would not have wished anything bad to happen to me. But bad it was, and very dreadful for me. Is it possible, Lord, that there exists anyone so courageous, so united to you by intense love, that he could make light of rack, hooks and similar torments, from which other people the world over pray to you to be delivered? Is there any such person who could rise above them through devout union with you, rather than out of mere ploddish insensibility that counterfeits courage? But if this person loved others who are terrified of such tortures, could he still make light of them, as did our parents who laughed at the torments we boys suffered? We were just as terrified of punishment as other people of torture, and our prayers to you were no whit less heartfelt as we begged that we might escape. All the same, we were blameworthy because we were less assiduous in reading, writing, and concentrating on our studies than was expected of us. It was not that we lacked intelligence or ability, Lord, for you have endowed us with this in a measure appropriate to our age. It was simply that we loved to play, and we were punished by adults who nonetheless did the same themselves. But whereas the frivolous pursuits of grown-up people are called business, children are punished for behaving in the same fashion. And no one is sorry for either the children or the adults. So are we to assume that any sound judge of the matter would think it right for me to be beaten because I played the ball as a boy and was hindered by my game from more rapid progress in studies, which would only equip me to play an uglier game later? Moreover, was the master who flubbed me any better himself? If he had been worsted by a fellow scholar in some pedantic dispute, would he not have been racked by even more bitter jealousy than I was when my opponent in a game of ball got the better of me?